And welcome to Flightdeck Live, powered by SportBuff, where if you go to sportbuffshop.com and use the code ALFlightdeck10 and check it out, you will save 10% off your entire order. I'm Tim Kepper, along with Cliffy D from Holiday Monday practice here in Saint-Jérôme for the Alouettes. And it's funny, what a day makes compared to what we had the other day, and that was actually we had last week for training camp, because it is for late May, it's just downright frosty.
Yeah, you call it Holiday Monday. What holiday is it? Christmas? Because holy crap, it's cold. It's cold. It's windy. It feels more like October than May.
Yes.
So if you told me this was late October, I would believe you 100%. It said, no, I checked the calendar. I swear to God, it is late May.
Okay, we're going to look over Justin. It's May, and this is not what we wore last year. If everybody goes back to last year's Holiday Monday show, no, we were wearing T-shirts.
Yeah. And let's not forget, it was a week ago when we did Flightdeck Live. It was super sunny. I got a bit of sunburn, but yeah. Tell you that.
Now, it being Holiday Monday, obviously it's a new week, Cliff, but yet it is also preseason. It's getting ready for the first game of preseason, so it is game week, kinda.
It is.
And obviously, as it is, the team is still continuing with training camp, but yet they're also getting ready for the Ottawa Red Blacks that is going to be this upcoming Saturday afternoon at Percival Molson Stadium. Before we talk about what we saw today at camp, we can say that we do know that there were some guys that were back practicing. Thank goodness, we'll talk about. But there are also some guys who were having a what are they calling it? A physical day, a therapy day, and that happened to be Austin Mack. That happened to be Stevie Smith, and it also happened to be
Stevie Scott.
Sorry, Stevie Scott, and it was Tyler Sneed. Thank you. I should have written it down, didn't. But the plus thing, on the plus side, though, Cliff, is that we had Tyson Philpott back on the field, and it was great to see him back.
Absolutely. And again, back like he never left. And that's the important thing, is these guys coming back, especially Tyson coming back from a major injury like he did, see him back out there and just looking absolutely clean out there is just such a sight to see. And talk with him after practice, like you can tell he's jonesing. He's just jonesing for some true game action. And I'll tell you the same thing. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do in an actual game situation. Could be as early as this coming Saturday, the preseason game at Percival Molson Stadium.
It's very possible. Obviously, we don't know. Don't know who's going to be QB1 this week. We don't know how it's going to work. If it's going to work as it has in years past, Cliff. But I will admit, even though we are curious and jonesing ourselves to see what it's going to be like for Alouettes football at Percival Molson on Saturday, today's practice was very interesting. Again, beginning of a new week, game week. But man, you can tell that these guys want to play. But everything looked good today. We were talking about how good they looked on Saturday at the intra-squad game. But today, again, on both sides of the ball, it was just great watching these guys play.
Absolutely, offense, defense, even special teams. Everybody was just clicking. I mean, there was very few mistakes, and to me, just felt like this is already becoming a well-oiled machine. And quite frankly, that's exactly what you want. That you want to see everybody on the same page. You want to see everybody doing things the right way, the proper way. And truthfully, like you saw mistakes, obviously.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to be absolutely perfect, but I mean, for the most part, everything looked really, really well done, well organized, well coached as well. Mm-hmm. Let's not forget, these coaches are definitely doing everything they can to get these guys ready for game day, for whether it's preseason or even the regular season. But I tell you what, this is definitely a team to get very excited about.
And it all started off with the drills that we were quite into watching from Coach Quick, because just him watching him go through the, I guess we'll call them cadences when it came to the defense and how everything was set up. And it was like an old tenured school professor teaching the guys what he knew, but yet also the type of teacher who would say something that he would hope that his class would correct him, and that's exactly what they did, because he threw little zingers in there, trying to flood them up a little bit when it came to the cadence itself. But by God, these guys got it right, and it wasn't more than one of them. Most of them did.
Oh, absolutely. It was just great to see. I mean, we've talked about it on numerous occasions, just how exciting and how fun it is to watch Coach Quick do his thing, and he does it extremely well. And you can tell that his students, if you're going to use a professor analogy, his students are very well educated as well. And we're talking not just guys like Tyrese Beverett and Darnell Sankey, who, again, veterans in this league and definitely know exactly what to expect at this point in their careers. But even someone like a Jeffrey Conte Arku, who in his second year, I mean, he's got everything down to a science and is just absolutely phenomenal. I mean, that's someone who I'm definitely going to be paying a lot of attention to because, again, he had a pretty outstanding rookie campaign.
Yep.
And you always hear about the sophomore jinx, and it doesn't always apply to everybody. I mean, Tyson Philpott is a great example of his second season. He wins the Grey Cup. So,
yeah,
I mean, Jeffrey Conte Arku is definitely somebody that gets it. I mean, you can tell he's very well coached, not afraid to ask questions as well, and to learn as well. Like, he's very coachable, very teachable, and to me, that's what's going to help him make a even more phenomenal player.
I think it actually goes to show too that these guys, they're professional because they know exactly what they're talking about. Even they've been in pro football as long as they've been playing football for as long as they have. They really know that. And I would, as a person who I didn't play football, but you're just learning the ins and outs and the nuances. It's very interesting. Every year, I always find that I seem to learn something new.
And that's what it's all about. And that's why I always stress to people, if you love football and you want to learn more about it, what better opportunity to do so? You're getting a free education because the training camp is open to the public. You can just walk in, sit down, and just listen to what these guys are talking about.
Yeah.
And this is how you learn. This is how you grow. This is how you evolve. As far as even your football fandom, just understanding a lot better what happens on game day. A lot of it starts here, right here in camp. Just learning the basics, or going over the fundamentals. Just the stuff that, when you see it on game day, you're like, oh, how did you make that catch? Like, well, it starts in camp. It starts learning how to do these things properly. And to me, the best way to learn as a fan is to come here and see this in action. See it for yourself, how these guys go about their business.
Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about the camp, today's session itself, because again, there were quite a few things that we loved watching, and you kind of mentioned this, Cliff, after the intra-squad game, that these teams really do seem to know each other quite well, just by considering how basically it was great defense and great offense all day. And it just there were some things that stood out, obviously, near the end of the camp, which we'll bring up too, because there always has to be that one play. Always has to be that one play in camp that you're always going to remember. But first thing I do want to say, at least mention that we were told that the Alouettes did sign a new running back today. He was number 31 on the roster, and it was Travis Thies. I'm trying to find out where he's from. I know the team will probably announce it from South Dakota. So he played at South Dakota. So another part of the team for the running backs. So,
yeah, just all part of the process. I mean, players are released or added onto the roster every single day. Mm-hmm. There's always a transaction or two to be made. It's all in the name of getting better and trying to find out who would be a good fit on this team and who wouldn't. So, again, just another name to take note of, especially for, as we talked about, the upcoming preseason games.
Yeah. Anything stand out to you yourself? Because I know I said there are some things we probably like, both of us like, but anything that for you that stood out today, considering all that we watched?
I got to give major props to Shedler Furvius, receiver for the Alouettes. His route running today was absolutely crisp, clean. Just, I won't say perfect, obviously, but as close to perfect as one can hope for. It has just looked absolutely outstanding. I mean, this is a young man who I feel, especially now with the departure of some of the national receivers you had, this is his opportunity to step up and be a part of this. I won't say starting lineup necessarily, but I mean, as far as backing up Tyson Philpott goes in the national receiver spot, he's got to be the guy. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, everything that he did today and has been doing so far in camp has been nothing short of outstanding. So props to Shedler for as far as I'm concerned, stepping up when the moment counts. And again, really looking forward to seeing what he can do in the preseason.
Yeah. Gosh, so many things they said that I saw today. I honestly think I did mention this to you after seeing what we did in the intra squad game. Caleb Evans actually had a very good day today, very good session, and I think it just bodes well for the team. Again, as long as these guys are able to play up to speed and up to par, I'm sure we will see Caleb play on Saturday. Wouldn't be surprised at all. But it's I think it just goes to show, even after one day of the intra squad game, he, in my opinion, I think he improved quite a bit. And again, it's just one extra day of camp, but it's maybe just that little bit of something that he saw from some of the other quarterbacks kind of made him, perk up and say, okay, wait a minute, I need to kind of improve my game.
Well, that's the beauty of, I'll call it a competition, because we already know who QB1 is, but in theory, everything else is up for grabs, wouldn't you say? So, it's a chance, again, for someone like a Caleb Evans to show that, hey, I'm not just your short yardage specialist. And I think a lot of people would sort of say, well, that's your bread and butter. That's what you're known for. So be good at that, and the rest will hopefully come into place. But I think he's challenging himself to want to show, like, hey, I belong in the quarterback conversation as well, not just with MBT and James Morgan and even Jonathan Senecal. Again, all these guys, the reps that they took today were pretty close to flawless. Yes, a couple of picks were thrown. We won't say by who, but
but picks were thrown today. Picks were thrown, but I think that led to a couple of the moments. But I think one of the other things I wanted to mention before we talked about that moment that you and I will remember, and anybody who is here will remember, obviously, is that the Alouettes seem to be going through training, even though it is camp, and I guess because it is kind of game week, so to speak, is that they were trying some trick plays. We're going to leave it at that. But I can say, I think one of the things that we can mention actually is it seems to be something that the Alouettes are trying new this year. We don't know how much they're going to use it, but it seems to be using quite a bit in the CFL, is where it seems that the Alouettes are they're experimenting with their fullback doing short yardage situations. And I thought that was very interesting to see.
Absolutely. Putting David Dallaire and his, I think it's 6'3" frame to good use. Let's face it, quarterback injuries are going to happen. And the last thing you want is, especially if you've got your starting quarterback doing quarterback sneaks, which we saw a lot of last year. Cody Fajardo was taking a lot of sneaks. And did he not get injured trying to score a touchdown?
In Ottawa? Yeah, the ribs. Yeah.
So, to me, why wouldn't you've got a perfectly good fullback who, like I said, is a big boy, good solid frame on him. Give him the rock and let him plunge forward for the touchdown. BC was doing it all last year with, I believe it was David Mackey, who was the short yardage specialist.
And Al's got caught on that a couple of times last year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
for the Alouettes to sort of realize, hey, we can do that too. I think that's great. I think that's, again, awareness. I think it's also a sign to your quarterback, like, hey, we are going to protect you. We're going to make sure that you are not put in any dangerous, unnecessary situations. And quite frankly, when it comes to short yardage, if you don't have Caleb Evans doing the job, which, again, he does do it phenomenally, but why not once in a while mix it up a little bit? Get David Dallaire in there and score touchdowns. Why not?
Yeah, and Cody, and after Cody got hurt, Cody in the second half after he came back, he really was the guy to do short yardage plays, and I get the understanding. It's maybe about cadence and stuff like that, but I understand that Caleb was out at that point with his injury, but try something. And I'm glad. My thought is I'm glad they're trying something new, and we'll see how much they actually do use it during the year. So
it's just a good option to have as far as I'm concerned. Again, not taking anything away from your short yardage quarterback, but at the same time, you gotta. It's a long season, folks. You're gonna have to. Self-preservation has to come into play at some point, and I think by giving Dallaire the opportunity to plunge forward and score touchdowns as well as Caleb Evans or anybody else that lines up under center, I think it's just a good thing. I think it's just another weapon in the arsenal.
Yeah, one of the guys that we had spoken to post-game for the intra-squad game was Kay Benento, and everybody knows what this guy has done since he's been with the Alouettes. He was back practicing today, and man, this is one of the things I was telling you that when it comes to camp, that there's certain plays that people are going to remember. This is one we're going to remember, because that interception by Cabinento today, and it continued, and it would have been a genuine pick six by Cabinento. It just shows that this dude is back, and he's whatever ailments he may have been having up to this point, I don't think we have to worry about it, because he looked really good today.
Said it before, and I'll say it again. Keep calm and KBI.
There you go. There you go. Anything else that for yourself that stood up besides the Cabinento pick? Because I noticed that the defense did really well in the last session of today. I said there were some picks thrown, but again, I think these guys really seem to know each other well, considering how much they, even though we're a week in, how much they played each other.
Again, without question, I think this defense is going to be the bread and butter of this Montreal Alouettes football team, as it has been for the past few years. But my God, folks, do not sleep on this offense. I mean, everything is just clicking at the right time. It is absolutely wonderful to see. I think the only downside, if you will, is it seems like a lot of the pundits and a lot of the experts are not sleeping on the Alouettes like they have in previous years. Like now all of a sudden it's like, no, this is a really good football team. They're not lousy. They're not, there's nothing suspect about this team. Like, you know what you have in your lineup. And I think a lot of the other people in the league are realizing, oh, yeah, this Alouettes team is definitely dangerous. Definitely do not sleep on them. So it's impressive to see, and it's definitely something you want to look forward to.
Oh, yeah.
As far as, when you watch that first preseason game, you're going to be watching certain players. You're going to be watching certain plays even. You're going to be watching certain situations and if they come about and what's going to happen.
Despite how vanilla it probably will be.
Perhaps, but at the same time, you got to be able to execute even those vanilla plays. So who's going to be able to do that? I mean, you know who your starters are at this point, but it's now focusing on the bubble guys, the guys that you didn't know previously, but they're coming in and they're competing for a spot on the active roster or even the practice roster.
Yeah.
And seeing what they can do. And they're going to get limited reps, but it's what they do with those reps that's count. And that's what we're going to be looking for more than anything else. That's what I'm going to be personally checking out, is seeing that if you only get like 1 or 2 reps, they better be phenomenal reps. So yeah, to me, that's what preseason's all about, is making the most of your limited time on the field and what you can do with it. What can you do to impress this brass and impress them to, you're staying put. You're staying in Montreal, whether it's on the active roster, practice roster. We're going to find a way to make sure that you are a part of this Alouettes team. Yeah, those are the guys I want to see. I want to see what they do and how they step up and make the most of their opportunity.
Camp's one thing, but as I totally agree with you, Cliff, is that it always seems a little bit more when you're able to see these guys in actual action versus another team other than your current teammates. So Saturday, again, if you're going to be able to be at the game at Personal Molson, or if you're going to be able to watch the game over on CFL Plus or over on RDS, please take note, because as I said, these guys could easily be part of the 2025 squad for the Montreal Alouettes. Camp will be continuing here in Saint-Jérôme for up until the game on Saturday. Most of the sessions, I think, if I'm not mistaken, do start at what they did today at 8:30. If you happen to miss any part of this broadcast, do remember that it will be on archive over on X, Facebook, and on YouTube. And also it will be available later on this afternoon on Twitch if you do happen to follow us there. Cliff, any parting words, parting shots, whatever from our day here on again, I want to holiday Monday here in Saint-Jérôme at Alouettes training camp.
Supposedly it's spring, so I don't. You could have fooled us,
Yeah.
But you know what? In a way, maybe it's kind of a blessing in disguise, because the players that do make this team, they're going to look back on this day when it's like October, November, and like, we're ready for it. We're built for this. So maybe this is Mother Nature's way of helping prepare the Montreal Alouettes for a long playoff run.
Yeah, very, very maybe so. I will admit that that's actually good. We will have a show this week. That the podcast will be on Wednesday, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you do check all of our socials. And we will be having Flightdeck live from Percival Molson Stadium following the Alouettes preseason game versus the Ottawa Redblacks, so stay tuned for all of our socials for that. Other than that, it has been, as usual, our joy to actually to cover the team within this first week of training camp. Stay tuned to see if the next time if we do end up at camp here over the next couple of weeks before the regular season starts. But either way, it's just an absolute joy to cover this team.
Yeah. And also, too, if you're all watching on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, leave us a comment as well if you haven't already. Same thing if you're on our other socials. Make sure you're subscribed, notified, so you know that when we do go live or when the next episode of the Alouettes Flight Deck does drop, you'll be well aware of it.
Exactly. So again, training camp is in the books for today for Holiday Monday. Again, it is game week, and we hope everybody gets hyped for the game coming up on Saturday. So for the final time here in Saint-Jérôme at Alouettes training camp, for Cliffy D, I'm Tim Capper. We'll talk to you soon.